Ivanka Trump drew some scattered boos at an event in Germany with Angela Merkel, and that opened the floodgates to some media criticism of her role at the White House that was unusually personal.
One paper called you the first whisperer in a big front-page headline, asking whether you will steer your father toward a more moderate course or whether you will be a loyal accomplice. How do you answer that question?
Well, I don't like the intonation of that, which, assumes that I think, I don't like the word accomplice because, in this context, I don't know that that's productive. I think one of the things I value about my father as first a businessman and now as a leader of our country is that he curates ideas and he likes to hear from people with divergent viewpoints.
When I see Ivanka Trump taking on this role, I really see her becoming like Hillary Clinton in the worst ways. She's sort of becoming increasingly unlikable. She keeps trying to get these jobs that she's not qualified for based on family connections.
I think if you looked at Bobby Kennedy's record, you'd say some good things came out of that. And no, Ivanka Trump and Jared.
Trump to Bobby Kennedy?
You don't have to be so snotty.
No,
I was about to say you didn't let me get it out. You don't have to be so rude.
Okay, Molly, I get that Ivanka Trump being on the White House staff, it's unusual, it's controversial, some people don't like it. But I was just really struck by the bitingly personal nature of some of the debate over her role that was kicked up by the Germany trip.
Yeah, it did seem like it was that a little bit of booing was elevated into a major story. Also, I'm not sure if people did a good job of explaining that she's an unpaid advisor, sort of serving in a role as goodwill ambassador. There was a reference to Hillary Clinton. This is not Hillary Clinton running health care. This is someone going abroad and speaking about women's issues and how the country is doing. At the same time, she clearly does have her father's ear, and it would be much more interesting, I think, for the media to think about how she is someone who is so not conservative, who clearly is close to her father, and what that means and how that affects policy.
Right. Joe, you tell me that if she were a Democrat, if Hillary Clinton had won and had put Chelsea on the White House staff, the media would be savaging her like this.
It would, yeah, I think they would be. I honestly believe they would be. I think it. Look, I'm not for that. I think spouses and children, and even adult children, should be left out. Except once you start putting them into these kind of positions where they are making foreign trips, do have impact on policy. There are going to be questions.
Questions are fine.
Yeah, except I think it would have gotten personal for sure with Chelsea, and I don't condone it getting personal with Ivanka, but I think there's a line that gets crossed where partisans then start to play. The press buys into some of it, but the fact is a lot of these questions happened on that panel in Germany where she was asked, what is your role? Right. Are you making money? Are these other things? And there was no real good answers.
Here's why I disagree, because what's embedded in the media criticism of Ivanka Trump is, because she's seen as more moderate than her father, certainly on some key issues, is like, how can she defend her father and his treatment of women and talk about how many women, thousands of women he's hired his companies, and why isn't she pushing him more to the left? In other words, she's in sort of an impossible position because she is his daughter and she's on the staff.
Yeah, she's always going to defend her father. But look, I think Joe is right in that there is so much interest in her. And she does have her father's ear, and she's taking this job, but the White House has been so slow to roll her out. First she was going to take a job, then she wasn't. Now she has, but they won't say what her role is, and she isn't either. Now, I think she handles herself beautifully on that panel, saying this is new to her, the role is new, politics is politics, as I'm learning, she said, but she needs to say what she is going to do. Well, and that would really help the White House if she would just do that.
Well, I mean, so her role is not totally defined. It will evolve. Keep in mind that we have a very low-profile First Lady, and so Ivanka, I think, gets a lot of the attention that otherwise might go to Melania Trump, who, for now, is remaining in New York.